The 2026 FIFA World Cup is just months away, but instead of excitement, anticipation, and celebration, the build-up is being dominated by backlash, fear, and controversies, primarily due to the political developments happening around.
As immigration tensions escalate, the former president of FIFA is supporting a boycott of the upcoming 2026 World Cup.
Some fans say they're boycotting the upcoming World Cup games in the U.S. The local World Cup committee has been expecting hundreds of thousands of visitors to travel to the Metro when the matches kick off in 5 months.
A boycott has already begun, and it may not stop there, and is putting one of the biggest tournaments on earth under pressure. Spain has already taken a dramatic step. It has officially withdrawn from one of Europe's most iconic cultural events, and now the conversation is shifting towards something even bigger, the FIFA World Cup 2026. Headlines across social media are claiming that Spain is preparing to boycott the tournament entirely. But the reality is more complex and far more strategic. Because what is unfolding is not just a sports dispute, it is a geopolitical signal. The confirmed move came first. Spain's national broadcaster RTVE announced it would withdraw from the Eurovision Song Contest 2026 after the European Broadcasting Union allowed Israel to participate in the competition. Spain will not send an artist. It will not broadcast the event. It is a full cultural boycott. And Spain is not alone. Countries including Ireland, the Netherlands, Slovenia, and Iceland have joined in what is now being described as one of the largest coordinated boycotts in Eurovision's modern history. That matters not because of the event itself, but because of what it represents. Cultural platforms are becoming political battlegrounds, and now that pressure is moving towards sports. The idea of a World Cup boycott did not emerge from nowhere. It traces back to statements made by Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez, who openly questioned why Russia was banned from international sports following its invasion of Ukraine, while Israel has not faced similar consequences over its military actions in Gaza. That comparison was deliberate because it challenges the consistency of international institutions. And once that question is raised publicly, it forces organizations like FIFA into a difficult position. Should sports remain separate from politics, or are they already political? The situation escalated further after protests disrupted the final stage of a major cycling race in Madrid. Demonstrators objected to the participation of an Israeli team bringing the issue directly into Spain's domestic arena. From that moment, the conversation shifted. This was no longer just about international policy. It became a domestic political issue. And from there, the threat emerged. Spanish officials signaled that if Israel qualifies for the World Cup and is allowed to participate, Spain could consider withdrawing from the tournament. That is the key detail often lost in viral headlines. This is not an active boycott. It is a conditional threat. Israel has not yet qualified for the 2026 tournament. It is still competing in European qualifying rounds. That means Spain has not been forced to make a final decision yet. But the signal has already been sent, and in geopolitics, signals matter. Because even the possibility of a boycott introduces uncertainty into one of the most commercially and politically sensitive events in global sports. The World Cup is not just a tournament. It is a multi-billion-dollar global event involving governments, sponsors, broadcasters, and international institutions. Any threat to its participation structure carries ripple effects far beyond the pitch. And this is where the broader context becomes critical. Spain's actions are not isolated. Under Sánchez, the country has taken one of the strongest positions in Europe regarding Israel's military actions. It has imposed restrictions, aligned itself with international legal efforts, and consistently pushed for stronger responses on the global stage. The Eurovision boycott is one expression of that policy. The World Cup threat is another. Together, they form a pattern, a strategy of using international platforms, cultural and sporting, to apply political pressure. That strategy places organizations like FIFA in a complex position. Unlike the case of Russia, where there was broad consensus among Western nations to impose bans, the situation surrounding Israel is far more divided. Governments, alliances, and public opinion are not aligned in the same way, which means any decision to ban, to allow, or to ignore carries consequences. And that is exactly why this story is gaining momentum. Because it is not just about whether Spain will play in a tournament, it is about whether global institutions can remain neutral in an increasingly polarized world. If the current trajectory continues, the real turning point will come the moment Israel's qualification becomes reality. Because until now, everything has been conditional. But if Israel secures a place in the FIFA World Cup 2026, the hypothetical becomes immediate, and Spain would be forced to move from political signaling to an actual decision. At that point, the pressure shifts directly onto FIFA, and this is where the situation becomes far more complicated than a single country's stance. FIFA operates on a foundational principle: political neutrality. It has consistently argued that football should remain separate from geopolitical conflicts. But history shows that neutrality is not always sustainable under pressure. The most obvious precedent is Russia. Following the invasion of Ukraine, Russia was effectively removed from international football competitions. That decision was not purely sporting, it was political, supported by a broad coalition of Western governments and football associations. Spain's leadership has now drawn a direct comparison to that moment, and comparisons create expectations. If one country is banned under certain conditions, why not another under similar accusations? That question is now at the center of the debate, and it is one FIFA cannot easily ignore. But unlike the Russia case, the global response to Israel is far more divided. There is no unified international consensus. Some countries strongly support Israel, others strongly oppose its actions. Many remain strategically neutral. This fragmentation makes any decision by FIFA significantly more risky. Because whatever choice is made, it will alienate one side. If FIFA allows Israel to compete, it risks triggering political backlash, not just from Spain, but potentially from other nations that may feel pressured to take a similar stance. If FIFA bans Israel, it risks accusations of political bias and could face resistance from countries that oppose such a move. Either path leads to conflict, and that is what makes this moment so sensitive. Because the threat of a boycott is not just about Spain, it raises the possibility of a domino effect. If one major European country withdraws, others could follow, even a small number of participating nations. Stepping back would disrupt the structure of the tournament. Sponsors, broadcasters, and organizers would be forced to respond to a rapidly changing landscape. The World Cup depends on stability, and right now, stability is being challenged. Beyond the immediate tournament, there is a deeper transformation taking place. Global sports are no longer insulated from politics in the way they once were. Cultural and sporting platforms are increasingly being used to express national positions, apply pressure, and shape international narratives. The Eurovision boycott already demonstrated how quickly coordinated action can spread across countries. What began as a single withdrawal expanded into a multi-country movement. That same dynamic could, in theory, extend into football, a far larger and more influential arena. And if that happens, the consequences would be significant. Because football is not just entertainment, it is global influence. It shapes public opinion, national identity, and international visibility. Decisions made within football organizations can carry symbolic weight far beyond the sport itself. That is why this situation matters. It reflects a broader shift in the global system, where boundaries between politics, culture, and sport are becoming increasingly blurred. And in that environment, institutions like FIFA are facing a new kind of pressure, not just to organize competitions, but to take positions, or at least to justify why they do not. For Spain, the strategy is already clear. By raising the possibility of a boycott, it has placed the issue into the international spotlight without committing to immediate action. It has created leverage without closing its options. That gives Madrid flexibility, but it also raises the stakes. Because once a line is drawn publicly, stepping back becomes politically difficult. Which leads to the central question now hanging over this situation. If the moment arrives, if Israel qualifies and the tournament approaches, will Spain follow through? Or will the threat remain just that, a signal in a much larger geopolitical game? Because in today's world, even a threat can reshape the landscape. And when that landscape includes one of the biggest sporting events on the planet, the impact is felt far beyond the stadium.